30-point games. Blue-White has already taken over the building. Champ Week rolls on. It's the finale on this Friday night in the SEC tournament. Sheboy wins the tip. Xavier Wheeler, the nation's third best assist man, runs the point for Kentucky.
Look for Kentucky to make Scottie Pippen work defensively. 3 games, 3 days, and get out in transition. Try to make fatigue be a factor in favor of the Wildcats.
First touch for Sheboy, guarded by this 7-footer Liam Robbins, whose length certainly affected Oscar in the previous matchup. That's Xavier Wheeler with the bucket. Pippen getting some help by moving off ball when Rodney Chapman returned to the lineup for Vanderbilt, but Vandy is down a guard. Trey Thomas injured his hamstring last night. He will not play this evening for Vanderbilt. He was given him a key 18 minutes off the bench in the backcourt. Ty Washington fouled by Jordan Wright.
Kentucky fortunate on that 3-point attempt. Grady lost sight of Studi. 10 in black for Vanderbilt. He kept the Commodores in it last night. Big part of their offense. If he's hitting from 3, they're on another level offensively.
Here's a look at the starting 5 for Kentucky. A mix of young talent and transfer pieces. Wheeler from Georgia, Sheboy from West Virginia, Grady from Davidson.
Usually it's a couple upperclassmen supporting a ton of freshmen. Now it's a couple freshmen supporting a ton of upperclassmen. A different, more mature Kentucky team this year.
Xavier Wheeler's been shooting the ball lately last couple of games. Here's Sheboy from the elbow. First bucket for Oscar Sheboy. Cap fans love it. I don't know if there's anything he can't do. He's been on the birds, he's been in the pulpit, and he certainly gets it done on the basketball court. They hedge on to Pippen. Finds the 7-footer Robbins, and he jams it home. Robbins played at Minnesota. He's used to facing elite talent. He played against some good ones like Kofi Coburn in the Big Ten.
Yeah, and Luka Garza. And so he has not been able to get into rhythm this season because of the injuries, but they need a huge game from Robbins.
Here's Ty Washington. Sheboy, offensive board. 1 out of 5 Kentucky misses end up with Sheboy, and the result of Ty Washington 3.
Well, you can't become detached from Sheboy on the box out. You've got to put a butt on him. He's going to get enough on his own. You can't give him easy ones.
Pippen. First opportunity. Robbins a rebound.
And you see Kentucky's willing to make Pippen take tough twos. You don't want to help off him. If he gets his, that's okay. He can't be a scorer and a facilitator, though.
Wheeler throws it away. Here's another look at Oscar Sheboy.
Yeah, just long rebound there. Tough bounce from Vanderbilt. Quick ball movement. That's the best time to get an open threes off an offensive rebound with the defense sucked in.
Talked with the great Dan Issel about Oscar Sheboy yesterday. He said he reminds me of Wes Unseld. I've never seen anybody besides Unseld be able to read the ball off the rim and know where it's going. It's not just effort, it's a skill.
Yeah, and it's like magnets on those 2 huge paws. He never has one-handed rebounds, always going up with 2.
Pippen misses another one from the paint. Here's Robbins. And the former 300-pounder Liam Robbins down to a spelt 250 gets his second bucket.
And for Kentucky fans saying, who the heck's this guy? Well, his first game back was against the Wildcats. Very rusty at Rupp Arena. But he can be a huge force in the paint for Vanderbilt.
I was going to say he bothered Sheboy that game, but Sheboy still finished with 11 and 17. Then he went for 30 and 13 in the other game. It's all relative. We talk about Sheboy's production doing things that haven't been done in 50 years. Spent a time with John Calipari the last couple of days. He's got an energy about him, and he gets that way when he knows he has a great team. He is in a fighting mood.
Well, and he's coaching players instead of raising kids this year. And you can tell he's excited. He has an extremely smart team. Even in shoot-around today, he said, guys, they may do a few wrinkles in the game that we're not prepared for, but you're a smart team. I know you can handle it.
Miles Studi did not score in the previous matchup. He was keyed last night with 6 threes against Alabama. And Vandy's come from behind when the Doors trailed by 15 in the second half of that one. Chapman jumps the passing lane, a Vandy steal, and he navigates it off the glass.
Ty Washington's got to go up and try to contest that. That's too easy of a 2 in transition.
7-0 Vanderbilt run. Two-man game, Wheeler and Sheboy, a jumper from the big. Vandy with a chance to add to it. 7-0 run, and Pippen has yet to score. Quick start to this one, and a red-hot Vanderbilt on a 7-0 run to make it interesting. The Doors in front by a deuce.
Just how is Oscar Sheboy so dominant on the glass? Well, let's take a look at it. I mean, this guy not only has great instincts, but it is a skill. And typically what happens when the ball goes up for a shot, people are watching the ball, not him. Oscar Sheboy looks and locates his man, boxes him out. Look, he's going to spin around, find his man, put a butt on him, go get that, give me mine, everybody else, get out of there. And even when there's a bunch of dudes in there, 3 against 1, who's going to get it? Well, the one, of course, if it's Oscar Sheboy, then smart enough to kick the ball out. And then he can even go get his own. And check out the footwork here. This is why I call him the graceful giant, because not many beasts can also be a contestant in Dancing with the Stars. His footwork is terrific down low.
Look at this. Most rebounds in a single season since 96-97. He's leading the nation with 15 boards. It's thorough reading to read all of the records that he has set or is near setting, and it's tough to pick out just one. He broke Shaquille O'Neal's 30-year-old Rupp record with 28 boards against Western Kentucky. He had 20 boards the first game against Duke. When I was there for Pro Day and interviewing him, he said, yeah, I want to average 20 rebounds this year. And I laughed, and other people laughed. And now, well, he's the one laughing. He has a great feel for the ball. No, they're not cutting down the nets early, but they had to remove the net and doing some maintenance, trying to get a new one up before we can continue here in Tampa. First, you got to get the spring out. You got to put the net around that. It's listen.
Not quite the same as my Nerf goal at home, huh?
No, it took me a while to learn how to tie my shoelaces, so there's no way I'd be able to do this. On the other side, here's a Vanderbilt team that's not only on a 7-0 run right now, but Scottie Pippen Jr. has referred to Kentucky as his dream school. He first attended a John Calipari camp in June of 2014, and every game he's played against Kentucky in his career, he has scored more points than the game prior. This is a game that means something to him.
No question. And John Calipari even says, he's like, look, some of the shots he misses against other teams, he just flat out makes against us. And can you go under ball screens? Maybe normally, but not against us, because he just tends to bring his best against the best. And it's not just Kentucky all the time. I mean, this is a kid that averages 24 and 6 against ranked opponents, but he does save his best for the Kentucky Wildcats.
His dad cut down 6 nets in his pro career after starring at Central Arkansas. 2-time Hall of Famer. He went in as an individual, and they put the original Dream Team in as a squad. Naismith Hall of Fame. And a great defensive player in his day. Scottie Pippen Jr. had senior's length. He wouldn't be at Vanderbilt. That's just a fact. I mean, he was being recruited by Washington State, University of San Francisco, UCSB, and now he's turned this into 17, 20-point games, and he's got 8 of his last 9. He's gone for 20. Alyssa had a chance to talk to him after the game last night. Alyssa?
Yeah, guys, I've gotten to catch up with him a few times this week with Vanderbilt's couple of wins, and then at shoot-around, you just saw Scottie Pippen Sr. in the stands. And one of the things that we talked about this week, and we shared a little bit on Wednesday night, was just the pressure of being a Pippen. What's it like having the last name Pippen on the back of your jersey when you're Scottie Pippen Jr., knowing everything that your father accomplished at the highest level? Scottie Jr. told me he loves it. When he walks into gyms, he knows that the expectations are through the roof. Even if fans haven't seen him play yet, he said he loves proving the doubters wrong. He loves living up to those expectations, surpassing those expectations. And of course, as you guys were talking about against Kentucky tonight, he does not shy away from the big stage, and he certainly won't be able to if they want to get a win over the Cats.
Well, Scottie Pippen Jr. has been used to the spotlight. He's played around and with other players who are used to it too. Out of Sierra Canyon, where B.J. Boston came from. Same with Bronny James. He played next to Kenyon Martin's son. They were on the same team at the same time. So was Taryn Frank, who's now here at Vanderbilt, whose dad also played in the NBA. It just feels different, Dane, if you grow up inside the game.
Yeah, and he's handled the pressure of preseason player of the year in the SEC extremely well for all those reasons. And you know what? In the day and age of the transfer portal, Scottie Pippen could have gone just about anywhere he wanted to in the country. But he respected, so did his dad, for Coach Stackhouse bringing him along when others didn't and handing him the keys to the car at an early age to allow him to develop and mature beyond his years as a college student athlete at Vanderbilt. So you got to respect the heck out of him for sticking it out with Vanderbilt. And all of a sudden now they become an extremely confident team where they go into big games now expecting to win, and that was not always the case at Vanderbilt.
Well, John Calipari wasn't exactly looking forward to playing this Vanderbilt team. Watched the tape last night. He said, I watched the last couple of games. He said, after the last time, I'm glad we're done playing them. If we see them again, we'll be in the tournament, and I hope we don't see them in the tournament. Vandy gave the Cats all they could handle in their last matchup. The Commodores are especially effective getting to the free throw line, and that's where Pippen made hay with a career-high 21 trips to the line in last night's comeback against Alabama. Off the screen, off multiple screens. Here's Pippen again. And then a third screen. Now he's free. Studi with the rebound. Chapman tees it up. Another offensive board for Vandy.
Long shots, long rebounds. Those become 50-50 balls. Vanderbilt coming out with them.
Chapman battling his way back from a hamstring injury. He played on the great Dayton team. A nice finish by Miles Studi.
Rare to see him go all the way to the rim on the season. 151 of his 185 shots were from deep.
Davion Mintz on the floor now for the Cats. Here's Kellen Grady. Good movement and motion from this Kentucky offense. Keon Brooks working on Studi. Nice little layup.
And they're getting into that dribble drive offense much sooner down the court as opposed to setting plays, whether it's off a make or a miss. They're getting into their action extremely quick.
Cal first fell in love with the dribble drive when he was at Memphis. Took him to the Final Four. Pippen, no whistle after the Mintz contact. Transition three. Count it! Kellen Grady with the triple. Cats reclaim the lead.
And that was priority number one for Vanderbilt. Get back in transition. Kentucky is going to make this tired Vanderbilt team run, and you got to find Kellen Grady.
Now made 9 of his last 17 threes. Jordan Wright shares it. Malora Brown on Sheboy. Blocked with the left hand. Wheeler in the open floor now. Push ahead Mintz. Great recovery by Miles Studi. Sheboy double. Here's Mintz. Yes. Davion Mintz with the three. Kentucky extends the lead. Pippen turns it over. Cats hitting on all cylinders with an 8-0 run.
Well, first the transition, the great advance pass, and that's all day easy money for Kellen Grady. Not a defender in sight. And then how about the half-court offense? They bring the double team. It gets it out quick, and the quick reversal. And Mintz, who has thrived coming off the bench for the Wildcats.
This is Grady to Sheboy, working on Malora Brown. Pippen came in to dig on him. And Malora Brown with the rejection. And we got a push. We had shoot around yesterday for Kentucky, and when the Cats were running through regular drills, Xavier Wheeler got multiple opportunities to work on a shot, so much so that John Calipari said, no, Xavier, you shoot the next one and the next one and the next one. And now the transfer from Georgia has hit 50% from deep over his last 3 games. How important is it for him to be a threat?
Yeah, and I think it's throughout the season. What was important is he didn't abandon it. Early in the season, he was less than 20% from deep. But you got to keep shooting them to make the defense respect him. You can't expect it to all of a sudden start falling in March. And he's become respectable from 3 as Mintz takes a tough shot coming around that screen.
Quentin Malora-Brown with the foul. That's his first. Brooks committed his second a moment ago. Hope maybe Mintz is okay. Going to have to change rows in the choir. Jacob Toppin on the floor. Wheeler 3rd in the country in assists, nearly 7 per game. Mintz looks fine. Here's Toppin. Pull up. Tough shot.
Well, Vanderbilt wants to make other players beat them besides Sheboy down low, and guess what? Kentucky's doing it.
Well, John Calipari has used tournament time to give opportunities, sometimes last-minute chances to players from the bench before he tightens his rotation in the NCAA tournament. And if you prove worthy, you have an opportunity to solidify rotation time. Tyron Lawrence gets his own miss. Rejected by Sheboy. Second block for the big guy. Loose ball. And Lawrence blocked! Wow! Toppin came out of nowhere from across the bay. What a start to this game. Cats on a 10-0 run after Vandy scored 7 straight. Mintz floater. Terry Stackhouse was sending a play call. Vandy needs to get a bucket, especially if they can't get a stop. Pippen for 3. Got fouled, and he's going to the line.
How big was that as this play starts to become a home game for Kentucky? Scottie Pippen Jr. with a clutch answer early on in this one.
First bucket for Pippen tonight, but Kentucky's defense all over the place. Where did Toppin come from?
Out of nowhere says, give me that. You want to see one of the best verticals in the SEC. Zero just showed you. And then Pippen says, hold on. We're not going home just yet. And one from deep.
Toppin.
Well, it's more than just the highlight, as impressive as that was. But for Kentucky, as Coach Callis said, he wants these guys to be a star in their role. And when you look down this roster, Oscar Tshiebwe, certainly a National Player of the Year candidate. The terrific point guard play by Xavier Wheeler. Ty Washington, a great freshman that can get you anything off the bounce. The shooter, Kellen Grady. The role player, Keon Brooks. I mean, you go down the line and then you go to the bench. And you have an energy guy like Toppin that can come in and make these momentum-changing type plays. And you just think about it in an NCAA tournament game. You can't get anything going offensively. Maybe somebody's in foul trouble. Then you got a guy like Toppin that can come in and do things like that that could get your team over the hump.
We saw it the last game of the regular season, Arkansas at Tennessee, and the Razorbacks are getting blown out. And Eric Musselman decided, you know what, I'm going to give some guys a chance and see what they can do. Not that you ever plan on being down double digits, but to have athletes and players that are good enough off the bench to not only get in there and get you points, but to have the other guys go, oh, wait a second, he's playing pretty well. I might need to get back out there.
Well, and I think the blessing in disguise for Kentucky has been some of their injuries. They've been able to recover from those and they're healthy, but you think about a guy like Bryce Hopkins, the hero in the LSU game, 13 points, 16 minutes. Everybody feels a part of this team's success because of the story they've had so far in this season.
Pippen makes it a 4-point play, and it's a 4-point Kentucky lead. Alyssa was listening in to John Calipari's huddle. What'd you learn?
Yeah, Coach Cal really happy with the speed of the way his team is playing right now, but emphasizing getting a little bit more active on the offensive rebound, specifically hitting up his big guy, Oscar Tshiebwe, saying, hey, don't tip those balls. Don't go for it with one hand. You got to go up with 2 hands to come down with some of those.
He's leading the country by grabbing 19% of available offensive rebounds. Think about what that means. 1 out of every 5 Kentucky misses, he gathers and gives them another opportunity when he's playing well. Another free throw coming for Ty Washington.
And Tom, he makes the right decision when he gets it, whether it's the kick out. If you need to run clock, get a three-point shot, or he goes up with it as well.
Alyssa mentioned the pace of this game. The Kentucky staff well aware this is the third game in as many days for Vanderbilt. How important is it for the Cats to get into them and run a bit?
There's no question. You want fatigue to be a factor, and for Vanderbilt, the way to do that, you got to keep running your stuff offensively, but you got to get to the free throw line. That's been a weapon for them all season long, but make this a little bit of a sloppy game and give yourself a breather by being at the strike.
Heard a lot of whistles in the game last night for Vanderbilt. It was a new SEC tournament record in free throw attempts. Here's Robbins. Got the three. Wow. Hey, and Robbins with the triple.
Is he ready to play or what, man? A lot of people that haven't been following his story in the SEC are thinking, where did this 7-1 guy come from? And Oscar Tshiebwe is going to say, hold on, let me humble you a little bit, big fella.
Tshiebwe is 6'9". Robbins is 7 feet. Robbins had 0 offers coming out of Assumption High School in Davenport, Iowa. A big reason was his weight. He tipped the scales at nearly 300 pounds. Went to Sunrise Christian, dropped the weight. A couple years at Drake, then Minneapolis with Minnesota in the Big Ten. Tshiebwe with the rebound. He's eating 2 boxes of cereal a day. That's a lot of Captain Crunch.
He's a late bloomer, but he's blooming right now for Vanderbilt. I feel like that's a 4-point swing. Scottie Pippen Jr. went in there trying to seek the contact instead of make the layup. Leads to a layup for Kentucky.
Pippen going into Tshiebwe. Drive. Air ball from the rim. Another board for Oscar. Push ahead. Top it up. Got a 42.5 vertical, but didn't have the hands to pull it in. Now Lawrence draws the foul, and he gets it to roll home.
Well, Vanderbilt's not afraid to run with Kentucky. They've got to be opportunistic on their own. So the missed lob attempt for the Wildcats. And no question, a block on this one. Good sidestep. Lawrence, and one.
So Tyron Lawrence back to the free throw line. Been in and out of the starting lineup for Jerry Stackhouse this season. Pippen will get a breather. He's got 1 foul, not an issue, and he doesn't usually get into foul trouble. Pippen's strength is drawing fouls. He drew 12 of them last night. Grady, short. Lance Ware in the game, and he commits the foul.
Coach Cal is imploring for Lance Ware to go up there with 2 hands to get the rebound. Alyssa touched on it about the message in the huddle. But Lance Ware getting some minutes with Keon Brooks with 2 personal fouls. A great offensive rebound opportunity. Just don't go up there trying to corral it with 1 ball. Put 2 of them on there.
Anybody check and see if Cal's watch is clasped tightly tonight?
That's a nice watch. But can it count your steps, Tom Hart?
Those steps for him now. It is firmly in place after it flew off when the Kentucky women's team won the SEC tournament in Nashville on Sunday. Lawrence downhill. A great touch. He ended up next to the standard. He's late getting down the floor. Kentucky will push.
You want to pull off an upset, you got to get some unexpected production. Vanderbilt's getting it right now from Robbins and Lawrence.
Ty Washington, the freshman from Phoenix, fits it in. And now stolen away by Ware. They tried to push it to the 7-footer.
Just a poor decision there. What was he going to do with it anyway if he caught it, throwing it to him in that spot?
Mitch lost his footing. And Ware went diving for it. It'll be Vanderbilt basketball. Where's the pace out right now in terms of whether or not this game is moving too fast for Vandy?
I think it's okay for him because, look, yes, there's a method to the madness for Kentucky. That's how they want to play. They want to wear Vanderbilt down with the 3-game, 3 days. But Vanderbilt can struggle some in a slower game in the half-court set. So I think they're going to get themselves some open looks with this pace, even if it comes at the expense of some of that fatigue.
Wheeler back on the floor as Mitch heads to the bench for the Cats.
That's the guy they need some buckets from. Jordan Wright, 4 in black. They like to post him up and ISO him.
He had a 14-10 double-double against Kentucky in the last matchup. In traffic. Nice touch.
And he's all about angles. You have to stay in front of him. Do not get lost on the pivot or the pump fake.
Toppin threw it away. Washington was cutting. Toppin didn't see it. 6 turnover for Kentucky. It's a beautiful night outside. Everybody is come inside the arena for the finale. Kentucky and Vandy tight early. You're doing everything for the Cats.
Yeah, you try to play the pick and roll, make them shoot the jumper, don't get out there in time. He's got the nice touch from there. And then here he is. Even when you have inside position, he still gets the offensive rebound, creates the second chance opportunity, another 3 points there. You want to bring the double team? No problem. He's going to make the right decision, kicks it out. This is going to lead to another triple for Kentucky. So that's 2 hockey assists for him. A total of 8 points in that clip. Then let's put a .10 on the board that he's responsible for. Just going to work down low, gets the terrific angles. Tom, when I saw these guys in the blue-white game earlier in the year, I thought, man, he dominated everybody. He just punked them. I said, but the bad news is he punked Kentucky players. Who's going to keep up with him and man up? I didn't realize he was just going to punk the entire nation. And he has exceeded expectations.
He's trying to become the first in the country to average 15 rebounds a game since 1980. He will be the first at Kentucky since 1955. Jordan Wright. Here's Robbins again. Tracked down, another offensive rebound. It's Jermaine Mann to Chapman. And a rebound finally brought in by Damian Collins. Wheeler right into DeZoni for the foul.
He's just impossible to stay in front of when he's got that type of speed going. You almost have to guess which way he's going if you want to cut him off.
Pippen back in the game. Sat for a moment. Scottie Pippen Jr. January of 20, I should say, played his first game against Kentucky. He scored 12 points. The next game, 13, then 18, 21, 32, 33. He's gotten more productive each and every game, yet Vandy has lost all 6 matchups.
They were trying to run a look for Grady. That's one thing. They got to try to get Grady some looks in the half court. It can't just be in transition, hoping another team loses them.
Jump stop for Wheeler, out to Grady. He can hit him when he's covered. And we got a foul inside on Vandy. Man, can't believe it.
Tom, Grady's only had, he has not had more than 1 3 in the past 4 games. And you got to get more looks for him. I know Kentucky does not rely on the 3, but it needs to be a more integral part of their half-court offense. Good job by Collins. Just hustling, getting in the mix, creates an extra opportunity for his team.
No miscommunication. Now the shot clock at 8. Wheeler finds Sheboy. The defense by Robbins. Wheeler with 1. Corner 3 at the buzzer. An air ball. And Kentucky is not on the same page. That Calipari saying that's twice. Come get it.
But a good adjustment by Vanderbilt. Earlier in the game, we showed the replay. Oscar Sheboy getting that open 15-footer. Robbins does a much better job of recovering quicker, forcing him to rotate out of it.
Vandy has a winning record against Kentucky in this SEC tournament. They've won the last 2 matchups. Only down 2. Team Robbins. Rebound by Wheeler. Wheeler, a bowling ball in there, and Robbins fighting for it. Good hands.
And he can make those, but if you're Vanderbilt, you'll live with that. Tough 2s fading away from the basket.
Pippen is able to draw the foul on Kellen Grady. And so Pippen to the free throw line.
Just such a talented driver, Tom. I mean, he is north-south at all times. Rarely do you see him going east-west. He just weaves in and out, whether it's in transition, half-court. And to be an all-SEC player for the second year in a row in the toughest league in the country is something else.
Trying to become the first conference player since Ronnie Henderson averaged 20 points a game in back-to-back seasons. That was back in 1996, primarily from the free throw line. This is his 267th free throw attempt of the year. He was only a three-star recruit, came into this year as the preseason player of the year in the league.
And I think the good news for Vanderbilt is it's not been the Pippen show. They've tried that before with him scoring over 30. If they're going to beat Kentucky, it's got to be a balanced attack.
Ty Washington used every bit of the metal. He's got 8.
His mid-range game is elite.
Pippen working on Mintz. Here's Pippen again. An air ball. That's what John Calipari saw on the tape last night. He said, I'm watching him shoot air balls against Alabama, and I'm thinking maybe we should just go under every screen. Well, even though Pippen didn't shoot it well, just 5 of 19, he still finished with 26.
And he knows he made a mistake there. Taps his chest and says, my bad, guys. Don't settle for that. When you've been getting pretty good looks in the half court, I like Vanderbilt's offense posting up Jordan Wright a little bit down low. Let him facilitate some, play a little one-on-one.
Pat Adams going to go check in at the end of the bench. Jacob Toppin has a bloody nose, and they'll take some time to tend to him.
He's the only guy on the court. You got to wonder if he hit it on the rim. I mean, this dude is a freak athlete.
Well, of course, you know about his brother. Kentucky fans already rolling their eyes that we bring that one up. But there's somebody else on the floor that knows him well. Rodney Chapman played with Obi Toppin at Dayton, that fantastic team a couple years ago. He was the starting point guard on that 29-2 team that was headed to a #1 national seed before COVID interrupted everyone's plans. He said they learned their fate when they were on their way to the tournament. Toppin's going to have to go back and get tended to and take it off the bench and perhaps all the way back into the locker room. Jeffrey Satin, the Kentucky athletic trainer. It was friendly fire, we're told, from the truck. Oscar Shibwe caught him. Wheeler, a little off balance. Doesn't go. Talking with Kentucky assistant Jay Lucas, and he said the one thing we're working on with Xavier Wheeler is you've got to be in balance when you go up for your jump shot. Sometimes he gets moving too quick and gets off balance, whether that's a mid-range jumper or a 3. And there's a 3 from Studi, and Vandy goes up by 1.
Well, and this Kentucky offense has not been the same without their glue guy, Keon Brooks, who's been out with those 2 fouls. Coach Calipari started to send him in the game. He says, no, come on back. I don't want to risk it. Bryce Hopkins looking to check in.
Shibwe. Old school bank shot.
That's tough. He just does that quick spin on the baseline. Loves going over that left shoulder. Nice touch off the glass.
Studi did not make a bucket against Kentucky last time. He was looking for back-to-back threes. Talking about the supporting actors needing to help Pippen. Well, Studi, after 4 threes last night, is feeling it again tonight.
Yeah, Studi's a guy that can talk the trash, but he can back it up. 2 triples in this one. And then Shibwe. I mean, how do you beat this? I don't care what defender you got on him. Nobody's stopping Big Oscar.
On this, on our right end.
Welcome in. We will see you at the half. Myself, I got Fish, I got Shooter. We're going to show you how A&M shocked Auburn. Arkansas survived. You're chuckling about something already.
Well, Vandy throwing everything at them like they're shopping at Fine Lane's basement.
Oh, that's interesting.
And for people waiting for Vandy to get tired, in that first game, the most minutes was played by Miles Studi.
Okay. There you go.
25.
25, that's it. By the way, our Shooter and I, we got sore right shoulders after throwing T-shirts, dude.
You need to stretch. By the way, Fish goes to filings. He can still spend 10 grand. Here we are. It's like looking up at an eclipse. I'm a little nervous.
It's a department store.
We talked yesterday with Jerry Stackhouse and his appropriate attire. We said, man, does this guy fold his suits in a carry-on like we do? Don't think so.
No, he packed plenty of suits, though. He said, I got 5 of them. Vandy trying to get to the semifinals for the first time since 2017. How about the balance for the Doors tonight?
Yeah, it hadn't been the Scottie Pippen show, although he had a big bucket here to quiet the run by Kentucky. But it's been others. And Lawrence gets to the rack. As I mentioned earlier, you got to have some unexpected production. And Robbins comes through clutch with a big 3. And then Studi, of course, getting in on the mix. But this is a Vanderbilt team that expects to win. This is the most confident 11 seed in a conference tournament you can find in the country right now. They've been close in so many games and taking teams down to the wire. They are not scared of anybody in this league.
And a lot of that comes from their head coach, Jerry Stackhouse. He was fired up. That game at Rupp picked up a technical. He is a competitor, that should go without saying, for all of his years in the NBA, 2-time All-Star over 19 seasons. He's not the kind of coach that's going to back down to John Calipari.
And any time you try to bring up lack of talent to him or injuries or anything like that, he just says, look, we have enough. We have enough.
Here's Washington, left it short. Jordan Wright finds it. Vandy looking to reclaim the lead. Alyssa, what'd you learn from the Vanderbilt huddle?
They're happy with the way they're playing, guys. The name of the game for them right now, defend and rebound. They want to limit Kentucky to 1 shot per possession. They're happy with what they've been able to do in that realm so far.
Cats lead the country in offensive rebound percentage so far tonight. On 11 misses, they only have 3 offensive rebounds. Chapman with the driving kick. Right, off balance, got it. Vandy back in front.
I don't see any tired legs. These guys ready to hoop. Jordan Wright could be a mismatch nightmare.
Bryce Hopkins waits in the corner, see if they go to him. Bounce to Shibwe. And he draws a foul from Malora Brown.
On the Vanderbilt side, anytime you get Jordan Wright the ball, it's a good thing. And he's just a very patient player. Pump fake, pull up, mid-range game. He's got it. Part of Jerry Stackhouse's first recruiting class. The anchor and anchor down for the Commodores.
Liam Robbins back on the floor now for Vanderbilt, and Ware will replace Hopkins. John Calipari was very concerned about the physicality that Vanderbilt plays with. That was a key component in a storyline in the game at Rupp, where they leaned on Shibwe, and Robbins doing the same here.
Well, at halftime of that Florida game, he said, guys, get Oscar the ball. And I think that's what they're trying to do right now, especially in Brooks' absence.
Shibwe thought he was fouled. We got a tie up, and nobody wants to let go of it. Shibwe took over that game in the second half. At one point, between the start of the second and the end of the first, he scored 17 of 19 points for Kentucky.
Good job of not giving him any type of angle there at all by Robbins, and the 7-footer disrupts the shot. But to me, that's the biggest part of the game. Alyssa touched on it. Limiting Kentucky to being one and done on the offensive end.
Pulled out a 71-63 victory in the regular season finale against Florida. After Shibwe took over. Florida lost its opener against Texas A&M. Then the Aggies won again today. Studi short. Ware the board. Wheeler. 16-footer. Got it.
That's that balance you were talking about, Tom. He goes in with that terrific speed, but settles down, gets off a clean, balanced look.
Pippen trying to get out of the double. Finds Chapman for 3. An air ball saved at the baseline and then nearly thrown away. Pippen saves it. Pippen weaves his way. Shot clock at 7. Working against big Lance Ware. A bump, a fake, a fade. They're making Pippen work. Could have been basket interference. Looked like Vandy yanked the net and it fell off the side of the rim.
I know Vandy wants to run with him, but you got to run some clock here. You've had a terrific first half. Take your time here. Don't let Kentucky get any sort of momentum heading into the half.
Ty Washington the foul. It's his second. 56 seconds left. And Vandy in the bonus.
And it's tough to keep that balance when you're as fast as he is, but he stops on a dime, stops, pops, bottom.
The conversation with Jay Lucas was, if you're Xavier Wheeler, you've got to stop and get in balance. If you're a guy like Kellen Grady who can get shots off with guys in your pocket, it's a different talent. There's different size involved. Some guys can do it, some can't.
Well, and for Wheeler, a lot of his shots are coming off the dribble. Other guys are getting it off the catch, so your shot prep is a little bit different, especially with Wheeler's speed.
SEC Scholar Athlete of the Year, Jordan Wright knocks down 2 free throws. 7th lead change in his first half.
I think the other thing Vanderbilt's been able to take advantage of is not just Keon Brooks when Kentucky's on offense, but Keon Brooks on defense. Is Jordan Wright been able to get what he wants on those post-ups.
Big screen from Shibwe. Wheeler off balance there. Oscar the board. He'll go up again. Robbins got a block, and the loose ball stays with Kentucky. Wheeler drives. Cut off. Here's Grady. Shot clock at 7. Finger roll. Got it.
Nice job by Grady. If they're going to run you off the line, make
steal. Mintz. And one. Well, that was quick.
Yeah, as Will Ferrell would say, that escalated quickly. Well, it's great relocation by Grady. He runs to that corner with the hammer pass, and if they're going to close out of control, make a pay with the floater. Well done by Grady. And then just a careless play by Studi. We talked about it, just taking time off the clock, going to halftime. You've done so well. Don't give any momentum to Kentucky. And in a blink of an eye, here come the Wildcats.
First on Studi. Ware heads to the bench. Mintz asked for a towel. They pass it around. He initially leaned in on Pat Adams and tried to wipe his hands off on the official's shirt. That's the whole. No. We have towels for that. 3-point play. Davion Mintz. 19 seconds left in the half. Pippen says push it. They'll get across midcourt and use the timeout. Vandy without a bucket the last 2 minutes and 40 seconds. It's not just a business trip for this Kentucky team, but talking with John Calipari, he was laughing about his visit to Dickie V when he came down to Tampa, came in a day early, so spent time with ESPN's best and his lovely wife, Lorraine. He said, Lorraine is there, and she's not just his saint, but he was laughing. He said, she's there to catch him in all of his lies. I said, Dick, what are you doing staying up so late at night? You got to get to bed early, get up early, get moving. She said he won't put down the phone. He's just tweeting nonstop. Dick, it's so great to see you up and about. We can't wait to see you here tomorrow at the SEC tournament this weekend. And we certainly miss him and hearing his voice on college basketball.
Yeah, the way college basketball has come back with the fans after the pandemic, everything else, the one missing piece has been Dickie V, but the support's been amazing. His battle's been amazing. An inspiring man.
17 seconds left in the half. Vandy is in the bonus. Pippen guarded by Mintz off the ball. And now they switch. 8, 6, and a dribble across the end line. Great defense by Davion Mintz.
Well, that's the last thing you want if you're Vanderbilt. I mean, you should be getting the last shot there. Worst case scenario, now Kentucky with 6 tips.
7th turnover, Vandy. Wheeler takes it across midcourt in front of Pippen. Strong left side, lost the dribble, picks it up, blocked by Robbins to end the half. All in all, Vandy's got to be pleased with the effort and the score.
Outside of a mini run there at the end by Kentucky, Vanderbilt going to the locker room with a ton of confidence. Jerry Stackhouse telling his team, we can win this game.
John Calipari's with a listen.
Coach, how would you evaluate the first half?
We played okay. I mean, they're playing well. Vandy's playing as well as anybody in the country right now. Shooting, running their offense, playing physical, bump and grind. They're doing good.
Emphasis